Wake of a high-stakes case for former President Donald Trump, the Supreme Court is deciding whether Colorado can strip his name from the 2024 ballot under Section 3 of the 14th Amendment.
Yeah, no matter how this case falls, it will likely polarize voters ahead of the election. So let's get some insight on that from a core member of our political team.
We are joined tonight by Jason Wheeler. There are a lot of people watching this case closely. What will the Supreme Court decide?
Yeah, people on both sides of this watching it very closely. The Supreme Court seemed reluctant, to take a historic step today. The 9 justices grilling lawyers from both sides, questioning whether a state has the authority to make the decision that Colorado did.
Justices today appeared broadly critical of Colorado's high court decision to disqualify former President Trump from that state's primary ballot under Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. That section prohibits an officer of the United States from holding public office if they've taken an oath to the country and then engaged in insurrection. Mr. Trump's lawyer drawing a distinction between an elected president and an appointed officer.
Officer of the United States refers only to appointed officials, and it does not encompass elected individuals such as the president or members of Congress.
But the attorney for Colorado pointed to the events of January 6th.
By engaging in insurrection against the Constitution, President Trump disqualified himself from public office.
Multiple justices signaled skepticism as to why states would decide a federal election without more guidance from Congress.
I think that the question that you have to confront is why a single state should decide who gets to be president of the United States.
Just doesn't seem like a state call.
At one point, justices questioned whether the framers of the 14th Amendment had even intended to give states more power in the aftermath of the Civil War.
The argument went, maybe not surprisingly, very well for Donald Trump. It does seem as though there is a strong majority, maybe even close to a unanimous court, to rule for him on some grounds.
The former president today praised his legal team.
I thought our arguments were very, very strong. You take the person that's leading everywhere and say, hey, we're not going to let you run. You know, I think that's pretty tough to do.
Of course, now timing is everything. It's still not clear yet when the High Court will rule on this case, but Colorado's primary is set for March 5th, Super Tuesday, which is the same day we have primaries here in Texas. And so it is very likely that we will see a decision from the Supreme Court by then. Chris?